In this video, we'll be learning how to factor using common factor. Common factor is always the first type of factoring that we look for when factoring an expression. So what we have here is two terms, 2n and minus 4, and we need to figure out what the factors of both those terms are and what they have in common. Well, the factors of 2n would be 2 and n, because the factors are two things that are multiplied together to give you the term. And the factors of negative 4 can be negative 2 and 2, or 2 and 2 with the negative in front. So we can see that there is a 2 that we can factor out from 4 and a 2 that we can factor out from 2n. So the 2 is the common factor of both. So we have the 2 there. And by bringing it out as a common factor, we have a bracket left over. What is left over then is the n and a minus 2. What we can see if we expand this is that if I multiply the 2 back into the equation, I would get 2n minus 4, which is exactly what we had before. Now we need to understand what the point of factoring is. The point of factoring is to go from two terms that are separated by pluses or minuses to one term. Even though you see a minus in the bracket, this is one term because the 2 is multiplying the bracket. So on the right hand side we have one term, and on the left hand side we have two terms. This is the reason we factor, to go from many terms to one term. Why would we want to go to one term? Is because multiplication is simple to work with, as you'll see later on. So let's take the factors of the next one. Here I have the factors of 6x is 6. The factors of 6 is 2 and 3, and the factors of x to the power 4 would just be x to the power 4. The factors of 8 are 2 and 4, and we can see that I have a common factor of 2 for both of them. So I would take 2 out as a common factor, and I'd be left with 4, because 2 times 4 will give me 8. 4 plus 3x to the power 4. And there I have factored. I've gone from two terms to one term. And to check it, we could multiply out. That's 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 times 3 would be 6 multiplied by x to the power 4. So we know that we have done that correctly. In the next question, we want to factor minus 9x to the power 3 minus 12x. Well, I know that 3 can be factored out from both minus 9 and minus 12, or negative 3. You can choose either one. And there is one x here, but there are 3 x's here. Because I'm taking out the common factor, that means they must be common in both terms. And the only one common in both terms is a single x. So I'd be able to take out a negative 3 and an x from both of them. And what will be left over in the first term would be 3, because negative 3 times 3 gives me minus 9, and x squared, because x multiplied by x squared will give me x to the power 3. And in the next term I'll have a positive number, because I've already taken out the negative in front. I'll have a positive number, and that will be 4, and I already have an x left over. So my final answer will look like that. How do we check? Well, we expand. So I multiply a negative 3 into there, a negative 3x, and I get negative 9x to the power 3, which is exactly what I have here. And then I would multiply that one there just to check, and I would get negative 12x, which is exactly what we had in the expanded form. Remember that I have now gone from two terms to one term, because everything on the right is multiplying. Even though you have a plus here, it still means that I have multiplied a bracket. So everything is multiplying, and I have one term. The next question says that I want to factor 63m to the power 6 minus 49m to the power 5 minus 21m. Well, I have a single m that I can take out from all of them. That m is over here in the last term. I have the 21, 49, and 63. I have to work out which number I can take out of each one of them. Which factor? Well, I know that 63 is 7 multiplied by 9. I know 49 is 7 multiplied by 7. And I know 21 is 7 multiplied by 3. So they all have a common factor of 7. So I can take out as my common factor 7 from each one and m to the power of 1. What am I left over with? Well, the first term I'm left over with 9 m to the power of 5, because m to the power 1 times n to the power of 5 gives me m to the power 6. Then I have minus 7m to the power 4, because minus 7 times 7 will give me minus 49, and m times n to the power 4 would give me m to the power 5. And lastly, I would have a minus 3. So if we want to check, we can multiply out and see if we get our same answer. And we will see that we would get exactly what we have on the left hand side. So I have the correct answer there. And finally, we have minus 24a squared b squared plus 36ab minus 60a. Well, I can take out a as a common factor from each one. I have 24, 36, and 60. Well, the common factor between all of those numbers would be 6. You could take out a minus 6 or a 6, depending on whichever number you choose. I'm going to take out a 6, so I would have a 6 and a single a. What would be left from each term? Well, in the first term, 6 times negative 4 will give me 24. I have taken out an a, so I need another a to make a squared, and I would need b squared to complete that term. Then in the next term, I would need to multiply 6 by 6 to make 36. I already have an a, and I would multiply it by b to make the final term there. And then lastly, I'd have to multiply 6 by negative 10, and I already have taken out an a, and that would be fully factored.